I'd call the Sewage and Water Board Finance and Administration Committee meeting to order. Special counsel, please call the roll.
Director Sloss?
I'm here.
Director Howard?
Here.
Director Pacho?
Here.
Director Guzman?
Here.
Director Markowitz?
Here.
Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. If I want to say something now, we have to change the agenda and go through a lot of things. No. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that, just if you don't mind, Greg, before we start. Director Markowitz sent some salient comments about about our reporting, and it occurs to me the thing to do, and I think, Joe, you had the same, you did this, you were in this chair. I think what I'd like to do is have a working group, and Carol, have you on there to take a look at what changes would be useful to the way we present things, instead of doing it, so a group puts it all together at one time. So I'd like to appoint you to be on that committee, and I'll appoint somebody else. But I appreciate your obviously thorough reading of the material. With that, so we'll work that out after this meeting, if that's okay with you. So with that, Gray Lewis, would you please give us your report?
Yes, yeah, thanks. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. It's great to be here. Just going to get some highlights on November. We're obviously close out the year and busy working to prepare for the audit and everything, but just to highlight here on slide one, the total system water and sewer revenue was $22.8 million for the month of November, $255.3 million year to date. Our expenses were $287.9 million, $292 million year to date, so below budget, a little higher than 2021 for the reason of things. The 5% COLA one time was paid to all personnel in October. On the system details, we're seeing similar trends that we've discussed, and bottom line for the end of November with $3.4 million was revenue less adjusted expenses, and year to date $123.6 million. 3.4 November, 123 year to date. On the next page on cash collections for the two recent months, November was $23.4 million, and December just short of $21 million. Which was a little lower than our recent months, but you'll see here, if we look at the full 12 months for 2022, the drastic improvement over 2021. So it's about $3 million on average each month more that we collected. So that's very beneficial to restore system funds. But we'll continue to be a focal point this coming year. That's really just the first solid 12-month period of normal collections and shut off. So looking to continue that.
Great work.
Coming year.
$36 million.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Very helpful. On the dashboard, just to highlight line 9, the days cash on hand at the end of November was 204 for water, 225 for sewer. Line 22, 23, I was just going to highlight our total number of delinquent accounts. It's 24,993. The comparable November of 2021 is a little over 28,000, so we saw improvement there. Line 23 is our number of accounts in disputes, which we continually monitor with Renee's team. That was a little bit higher by about 800 than November of 2021. So we do continue to see more normal collections equals more disputed accounts. So just working through those one by one. On page 4, our debt obligations, there are no major changes here. We'll see in December the closing of the $45 million drainage tax bond that occurred last month. And then on page 5, we spent about $10.9 million of capital in the month of November. And there at the bottom, we had about $4.7 million of reimbursements for our grants during November from our public assistance grant and the joint infrastructure road grant with DPW, both from FEMA. And one note.
Question.
Yeah.
What's going on that disbursements are so much lower than budget in capital?
So this is the appropriations number that starts off as a list of everything that we'd like to appropriate in a year, and for various reasons or other contractor delays, things get moved to the right. So we end up spending less in cash than we started the year saying we're going to appropriate. So one example, I guess, would be one of the large West Power Complex projects or contracts that is going to get advertised in 2023 now. So those are that's the major factor in that. So on the grants, just to update the committee, the one thing that we did, this is mainly driven by DPW for the JIRR, Joint Infrastructure, the period of performance was extended. We've been working with FEMA on that because it was originally be July of 2023, and those projects have sort of continued. There are several in process, as we know, throughout the city, but FEMA did come back to us at the end of December, extending the period of performance to February of 2024 for that PW or public dating back to Katrina. So we'll continue to be working with those extended dates and getting as much working with DPW as closely as possible to accomplish the contracts that are out there. Flipping over to customer stats, these calls were about 21,500 for the month. The wait times was up. We talked with Renee's team in the call center. This is attributed to staffing shortages. They had some people out from maternity leaves and just an overall shortage. So they're working on hiring to get the numbers back in a more favorable position, because the average wait time was about 9 minutes per call in the month of November. And the next graphs, payment arrangements, customer contacts, we're seeing similar trends. So no real highlights there. Same thing on the next graph for payments. For the month of November, we had again over 100,000 in payments. And then on the slide on the next slide, the customer accounts, is just to focus for a minute on the change. If we go one more slide. In our delinquent accounts, so we had the reduction of about 1.7 million or 3% overall in this past due category, which is defined as 60 days plus. So a little bit of improvement, but still plenty of room for more improvement. So this is again a focus area that we work with Renee's team every single week to go through the disputes and the reasons, and then also manage the shutoffs and the disconnect notices that are going out, and then the shutoff orders. If the customer still doesn't pay, then the shutoff orders that then get processed and executed on. But we do expect to see disputes to persist, meaning that customers tend to call because of collection activities, and then also in the month of December, or the holiday months, November, December, we see more of that. People calling in, disputing, less paying.
This is probably a dumb question, but we have 140,000 accounts. We never have 140,000 payments in a month.
It's just about 106,000. It should be short of, it's not all the way up to the other 140. So the total for the month was 106,000 of payments.
I know, but if you look at the graph, it doesn't look like it ever comes up to the number of active accounts we have.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. That's definitely a metric, that logically, if one customer has multiple accounts, do they pay one payment? But yeah, from a data perspective, I would like to see the number of accounts and the payment numbers much closer. So.
Hilka, which one are you on? Which point?
Which page?
Yeah.
I was going back to the graph of payments on
Page 8, the collections, payments by month. We get just a total of individual payments, as comparing that to the total number of accounts, 140,000.
It's like 25% of our customers didn't make a payment. Is that?
Yeah, but they're multiple accounts with one check and stuff. That's what I understood. That's what was my question.
Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be a one-for-one relationship. If the same customer has multiple accounts, they pay. But also going into that is a customer that doesn't pay, that's on our list of delinquent customers.
Yeah, you got
not going to be a payment for
24,000 delinquent, which narrows it right down, right? 25. Anyway, 25,000. Sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah, so I think again with customer receivables, a lot of room for improvement. We need the continuous and consistency of collections, and looking forward to full continuous 12 months of regular collection activity, and we'll be able to make continue to make improvements. That's all the kind of formal comments. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's it, thank you very much.
And now we're ready for our
Yeah.
action items?
Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna get down, just following my cheat sheet. So, action item, General Superintendent Ron Spooner, if you would take us through that, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, F&A Committee. There are 10 items on the GSO's F&A Committee for January, 6 awards, 1 change order, and 3 amendments. The first subset we'll go through is contract awards and renewals. Like to take those in global if need be. The first resolution is R006-2023. That is a resolution to approve the list of firms to provide professional design and related services to Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans. In June, the Sewage and Water Board, via response to an RFQ, received 68 proposals. These proposals were reviewed and evaluated by the Selection Evaluation Committee in October of 2022, evaluating all 68 firms for qualifications across 25 different project groups and categories that's listed in your packet. So the Sewage and Water Board, what General Superintendent's Office has requested the board to authorize the Executive Director on behalf of the board to retain any of the below referenced firms in their respective approved project groups, and also as the need arises to execute the agreement. So pretty much, in summary, this is updating our current professional engineering services list. The old one is probably 10 to 12 years old. This is bringing this one up to date, and we refine this list such that we have different project groups, and will assist us in all categories with engineering, construction, administration, and as such with the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans. So that's Resolution R006-2023.
So, Ron, if you have a project, are you still doing an RFP for price and things like that? Or are you just going to people on this list, starting with the first one on the list?
There's a criteria in RFQ based upon a dollar threshold, if I'm not mistaken. Based upon a dollar threshold, you can select a certain number of firms from the list. If it's over a certain threshold, then we can go to these qualified firms to request an RFP relative to that specific project. So what this list does establish is a list of qualified firms at which we can go to relative to whatever project we would like to design or take that firm to take a look at.
But what do we do then to control price? Do we go out to multiple people at a time?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
But these are people who have been pre-approved,
They're
basically.
These pre-approved, that's a good point. I mean, this is really a pre-approved list.
Okay.
That's Resolution R006. Moving on to the awards. The first award is Resolution R007-2023. That is contract 2162. That's our water main point repair, water service connection, water valve, and fire hydrant replacement contract at the various sites throughout Orleans Parish. 2 bids were received in November. The lowest responsive bid was submitted by Bo Brothers Construction Company in the amount of $1,179,175. So this point repair, the funding source is from our operation and maintenance budget in Work 6620, and this contract is utilized to supplement our maintenance crews and our water distribution system. That's Resolution R007-2023. The next one is R008-2023. It is the same type contract with the same scope of work, and that's contract 2163. Again, water point repairs, water service connection, water valve, fire hydrant replacement. And there is a correction need to make on the second whereas. 1 bid was received, not 2. So it was 1 bid received in November of 2022, and the lowest and responsive bid was for Bo Brothers Construction Company, an amount of $3,446,265. So again, the Resolution R007 and R008 are the same scopes of work, but we utilize the approach of 2 contracts, 1 smaller contract, 1 larger contract, to have the ability for smaller or medium-sized contractors to bid on this work with that dollar value. That is resolution, for both of those, Resolution R007 and 008.
We only get 1 bid? something?
That happens, that's, I would say capacity, but we only got one bid on this one. In the previous one, we got two bids. In the past, sometimes we get 2 or 3 bids. But it's hard to answer why only one bidder submitted on this contract.
We're competing with the city's JR
Yes.
program
Right.
for the most part.
And that's one of the reasons why we broke, to have 2 contracts, one smaller, one bigger, and the large contractor was the lowest responsive bid on both. So we're trying to make an effort to get some smaller contractors in. The next award is contract 2164. That's resolution R009-2023. That is a water main line replacement and extension contract through scattered sites in Orleans Parish. This is a contract where we do whole line replacement of the water system as well as large valve repairs, valve replacements throughout the city. This is a capital project out of the capital program, the 216 series. 2 bids were received in, again, November of 2022. The lowest responsive bid was submitted by Wallasey Drennan LLC in the amount of $3,333,265. And the General Superintendent's Office is recommending acceptance of this bid. The next resolutions are 11-2022. This is our first renewal of contract 30238. This is for the restoration of gravity flow sanitary sewers by excavation and replacement for manhole to manhole. Also CIPP lining. That's what we call a cured in place between manholes and service laterals. This is a capital project also used on a sewer collection system. This is the first renewal of the base contract, and it's from Capital Program 318. The General Superintendent's Office is recommending acceptance of this contract. Yes?
Remind me, please, what CIPP stands for?
It's cured in place pipe.
Thank you. I just forgot it temporarily.
Yes. Okay.
It's a liner that goes.
Goes through a pipe.
I just didn't know what it stood for, yeah.
So it's part of our ongoing trenchless technology where we try to implement. So it's the main as well as the lateral, service laterals also.
That's cool.
And the last award is award of contract 2022 SWB 77. That's furnishing lime to the Carrollton Water Plant. This is part of our chemicals. It's O&M. It's funded from the operation and maintenance budget, and it's part of lime we use in our water treatment system. 2 bids were received in December. The responsible and responsive low bid was submitted by Cheney Lime in the amount of $1,341,440. That concludes the contract awards and renewals section.
We maybe have a motion to approve contract award resolutions R006-2023, R007-2023, R008-2023, R009-2023, R011-2023, and R12-2023.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No? Okay. Is there any public comment?
No public comment, Chair.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries, bringing us to 3G, contract change order, one change order.
Yes, one change order. That is resolution R003-2023. That is a ratification of contract change order number 8 for contract 3799. It's the installation of the sludge dryer at the East Bank wastewater treatment plant. Again, the basis of this is relative to during the commissioning phase prior to August of 2021. The contractor was in the process of commissioning the equipment as well as other equipment at East Bank treatment plant. Hurricane Ida came through August 29th of 2021, disrupted the flow of the commissioning and also damaged some of the equipment associated with the commissioning. A work change directive was issued by SWBNO to the contractor to recheck the equipment to make, per the original equipment manufacturer's recommendation, to make sure all damages from Hurricane Ida had been repaired and addressed. This change order is also a carryover from change order number 7 from last month. And as I indicated in one of the whereas, it was an administrative error where we did not include all of the field change orders in change order 7. So thus, this change order 8 includes field change orders 16 through 20 associated with change order number 8. And this change order is an amount of $137,187.36. And the General Superintendent's Office is recommending approval of this. And the funding for this is from capital program, the 348 series.
May we have a motion to approve change order resolution R003-2023?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? Is there any public comment?
No public comment, Chair.
Public comment. All in favor, please so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Bringing us to 3 contract amendments. We'll take these in glove blow.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the 3 amendments. The first one is R002-2023 is authorization of amendment number 5 for professional services for sewer system evaluation and rehabilitation program management. That's our SWRP program and associated with our consent decree between SWBNO, Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans, and Stantec Consultant. Again, this is the amendment to do sewer program management work for the year of 2023 and associated with our EPA consent decree program. The funding for this is from Capital Program 319, and it's also WIFIA funded. So the funding is WIFIA funding for 2023. And again, it's to continue the program management and the construction administration of the SWRP work as well as the ESSA work and associated with the consent decree program. And the General Superintendent's Office is recommending acceptance of this amendment, number 5. Second amendment is Resolution R005-2023. That's authorization of amendment number 11 to the contract agreement between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Stanley Consultants for the design and engineering services for the Water Hammer Hazard Mitigation Program. This is part of our ongoing Water Hammer program at the Carrollton Water Plant. And this specific amendment itself is for the additional engineering and construction management services and oversight associated with Contract 1377 that's ongoing, and also some engineering tasks that was requested by staff associated with design task of the replacing a low voltage panel board inside the Claiborne station, as well as the study of upgrading existing high lift pumps to variable frequency drive. Which a large portion of it is for the construction management associated with the oversight of the ongoing construction activities. This amendment is in the amount of $1,166,604. The funding for this is part of the FEMA program. It's reimbursable and is from the Capital Program 175 series.
How did we end up with 455% change? That's, there's something, I get very uncomfortable with this.
When you say change orders, this is
Contract amendment.
contract amendment.
Contract amendment.
Right, and I would say part of this is there's unforeseen conditions, and also there are tasks, as I've indicated earlier, that we ask the contractor to look at relative to the design, looking to design of variable frequency drive for our 2 high lift pumps. We asked that. That was not part of the original scope of work. We did ask the engineer to study that for us, as well as the other low voltage. That's one. But overall, when we run into unforeseen conditions, which we will run into the field, that will require some design, additional construction management, then that's where these amendment would come through from the original scope of work. And again, I would say, let me take a quick look here. The original, the original contract, actually the Water Hammer Hazard Mitigation Program, it started in 2011, so approximately 10 to 11 years ago. The scope, there are some scope items from 10, 11 years ago have changed. I mean, they've changed. So we adjust for that on the engineering and construction management side, and that's where you see that original amendment would go from one price to the next.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to add that I forgot to include this in my email last night or whenever I sent that, but this was the one resolution where, unlike the others, there was like no reference to dates on any of these things. And again, if we just could add some very brief reasons for at least some of the more substantive amendments that were approved previously, it might help serve as better reference. as
And we
go
can
through this.
definitely do
Yeah,
that.
thank
I
you.
think what the PM did is, and I'm guilty of it also, is if we, sometimes we engineers, we put too much information in there, and then this resolution goes from 3 pages to 10 pages. So point well taken, and to condense that so someone takes a look at it, they can actually see what was the purpose of that amendment itself as we go through over time.
And the working group can help on that. Figure that out. I had, the variable frequency drives, you said weren't part of it, but that is part of the Waterhammer system itself, though, right?
Yes,
Why
of
wasn't it a
the,
separate project itself?
that's correct. So the Claiborne Pumping Station, those pumps are in service on VFDs. So in contract 1376, the original scope of work did not have VFDs because at that time. So we asked the consultants to look at a study so we can, the possibility at some point in time in the future that all of our potable water pumps would be VFDs and interconnected. So that's the reason why we asked the consultant to do that study for us.
Thanks.
Okay. And the last resolution is Resolution R10, 2023. That is the authorization of Amendment Number 5 to the agreement between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Integrated Logistical Support Incorporated for design and engineering services for the waterline replacement program. Again, this is our ongoing design effort, working in conjunction with the Department of Public Works, with our consultant with designing those neighborhoods. This specific amendment, number 5, is specific to the engineering construction services associated with one particular JR project group, which is RR087 Lakeview North Group E, in the amount not to exceed $130,266,000.87. So the General Superintendent's Office is requesting recommendation of this amendment number 5 associated with Resolution R10, 2023, and that concludes this section on contract amendments.
May we have a motion to approve contract amendment resolutions R002, 2023, R005, 2023, and R010, 2023? Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any public comment? No public comment. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thanks very much. We now have usual information items.
And no public comments.
And there's no public comment. I was just gonna say, just if we have a couple of minutes, I don't wanna eat up all the time, but Greg, we talked a little bit in a different meeting about new software. Are we proceeding apace with that? Is that something that,
Yeah,
financial
no, I
software?
could
If y'all don't mind, we'll
update
just hear quickly.
the committee on our replacement project for our general ledger software. We're going through a public RFP and are now doing the selection stages to get to either make a final selection or go to a best and final offer for the software and the integrator. So this would be a large project to be replace our general ledger, all of our grant accounting, replace what we currently have, which is pretty disparate. The systems don't talk to each other, or the budget modules, people aren't in the field seeing what the system has. So this will be a great new project. We're currently, our system is mainframe, so it's gonna take a big step to a cloud-based modern software package. So we're very excited about that, and be a big focus area. So hopefully by the next committee meeting, we'll have made a selection recommendation for the board. So,
Great. So that'll be implemented this year.
Who are the finalists that you all are considering?
the software is Infor, Oracle, Microsoft, those pretty large names in this space.
Oracle and Microsoft?
Infor is another one that, those three were responders, and there's some different integrators that work with each one of those.
Good stuff. We've already asked for, is there any other discussion? And there's no public comment. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moving, second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody. It was quick. All right, Carol, you talk about your group. Maybe I'll just call you, we'll figure out a time.